So here's my sourdough starter, which I have on the shelf, and you can see that it's full of bubbles, and it's going to be very active and raise my bread very nicely. If only you could smell it. Hello, welcome to my video on how to make sourdough bread, or at least how I make sourdough bread. I'm using this cookbook here by Paul Hollywood from the British baking show that is on Netflix. That's my sourdough starter. I've had that for, I don't know, more than a year. I put it in the fridge for a long time during the summer months, but I just recently took it out again. You can see I'm putting in 500 grams. I got this nice big bucket. It makes it easy to mix everything up. And I can also see my scale through the bottom of it. Then I'm adding my bread flour here. I think I sped up this video a little bit at certain points. You might be wondering why this is such a long video, but it's bread. It takes time. If you don't have time to make bread, just go buy some bread. Now I'm putting in a little salt, 15 grams. Usually I have kosher salt. I ran out, so I'm using Himalayan sea salt, I think. I don't know. It's pink. It doesn't matter. Any kind of salt. I think it's great to weigh it because, you know, if you're just trying to eyeball it with the measuring cup, it's not going to be as accurate. Although there is some leeway in bread, so it's not like making a cake where it has to be super accurate, but I do like to weigh things. And a little bit of warm water here. 400 grams. It says in the recipe to put 400 milliliters. I think that's what it says. But I checked. It's the same. Milliliters and grams when we're talking about water. They seem to be the same. And then I just mix it up for a little initial mixing. Just briefly make it into a little shaggy mess here. And shaggy mass. I think I should say shaggy mass. Better than mess. And then I like to let it sit for 20 or 30 minutes just to, I don't know, it seems to be good. I saw it on a video somewhere. It's not in the cookbook there, but I saw it on a YouTube video. Let it sit for about 30 minutes before you knead it. You can see my little Portuguese rooster there in the back. All right, now a little olive oil on the cutting board so it doesn't stick too much. And this is 30 minutes later. Now I've done this a few different ways. Sometimes I knead it. Sometimes I just do the stretch and fold where you just stretch it out, leave it for 15 minutes, stretch it, leave it for 15 minutes, stretch it, leave it for 15 minutes, stretch it, leave it for 15 minutes, and then shape it. But this time I decided to knead it. I need a little bit of exercise. I'm going to knead it for about 10 minutes. I've cut out some parts because you don't need to watch kneading for 10 minutes. So I got my Fitbit on there, getting some steps without even moving my legs. Got that cool Angel's apron. Got that from Jay and Naima. You've heard them mentioned in my hummus video. Oh, now we're moving. I made a sourdough last week. I made it with less water. It was drier. It was very easy to knead, but I want it to be a little bit slacker, a little bit more moist this time. So hopefully we'll get a better, I don't know, better rise to it. And so that's why I have to scrape it up, and a lot of it's sticking to my hands. And then I have this other bucket, put a little bit of olive oil in it. And then I'm just going to let it sit there. It's going to sit for, I think this time I let it sit for about 4 hours. Might take 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours. And this is a special little bucket where I drilled a little hole in the top, so I could just put the cover on and I don't have to worry about it building up too much air in there, I guess. Oh, that's a little bit of rice flour I'm putting into my little proofing bowls. And I heard that rice flour is good for putting a nice color on top of your dough. And now I'm going to shape it, and I made 2 loaves here. So I'm recording this Thursday morning, watching the Lions against the Bears. Traditional Thanksgiving matchup, but pretty weak this year. Okay, so I'm going to try to use a little bit of flour, not too much. And then I just quickly make it into a ball. I'm not knocking the air out or anything. And then I'm going to keep pulling it towards me until it forms a nice little ball. And the bottom's all closed up and everything. I'm realizing I put a little bit too much flour there. Because you want it to kind of stick to the bench a little bit so that it will close up nicely. And then I just put it in the basket. Yeah. And then after I put it in the basket, I'm going to, well, let me shape the other one first. Do it a little bit extra fast. Look at those hands go. Put a little flour on top. Then I'm going to put them both into plastic bags to let them rise up. You're just going to have to keep an eye on it to see how long it's going to take, because you don't want it to be under or overproofed. Now I'm checking it here to see whether it's just right. And it looks like this one is just right, because my finger leaves an indentation that comes back slowly. If it doesn't come back at all, then it's overproofed. And if it comes back too fast, then it's underproofed. So you want just to come back slowly like that. I have this little razor blade cut a little design into the top that tells the bread how to open when it's in the oven. You could just use a serrated knife. I don't think I get any better results with this thing, but it's just a little toy that I got. Oh, touchdown for the new third string Detroit quarterback. Blau. Or Bluff. I'm not sure. And then in the oven, I have this cloche. And it's a little ceramic thing. That's where I just take the bread on the parchment paper and I just stick it in there. Then I cover it up. And then I'm going to let it cook like that for 20 minutes. And I set my oven for 500. It doesn't get to 500. My oven's a little bit uneven in the way it keeps the temperature. And so you can see after 20 minutes, then it's all poofed up and it looks nice. And then I just take the cover off and I'm going to cook it for probably another 30 minutes. And there it is. And you could hear it cracking. It's got a really beautiful skin to it.
See, the second one got proofed a little bit more, and that's why it didn't open up as well as the first one.
Then here, I tried to record myself cutting it, but I didn't press the record button. So you didn't get the sound the first time. But that's what they both look like inside. Very nice structure inside. I heard that word in another video, structure. And now you can hear the sound of the cutting. And that's the good sound. I guess I could have sped up this part. So there you go. After, I don't know, about 10 hours, it's done. And here's your Thanksgiving Day shower. Goodbye.